everyone tuning in, welcome. Pleasure of hosting yet another AMA today with Oasis Network, whom is one of our long-lasting partnerships. For people that do not know me, I am Leon, and I'm a community moderator over at Band, and I have been since early 2021, so about 3 years now. What do I do? I'm essentially a community moderator at Band, so I manage the functionality and oversee moderation of our community platforms. Usually that be Telegram or Discord. I make it sure that everyone is up and running and welcome everyone to our productive environments for the end users. What is Band? Band is essentially an Oracle provider, so we make it possible for data outside the blockchain, call it off-chain, to be connected to Web3, call it on-chain data. Today we have the pleasure of joining us today is William Wendt, who's the Ecosystem Growth Manager over at the Oasis ecosystem. As I said earlier, Ben and Oasis have built a long-lasting partnership since 2022. With that in mind, Bent oracles are now accessible on the Oasis Sapphire testnet and mainnet. And I can say from a personal view, from what I did on research, I think, William, that you guys are truly front runners on working some magic when it comes to building an open and transparent blockchain. So on that note, welcome in. How's it going over there? Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's going okay over here. I work as the ecosystem growth manager here at Oasis, and I normally describe my role as, uh, working with the various departments, BD, marketing, engineering, and community, to sort of help with both the strategy as like the prioritization of how to grow the ecosystem. So that looks like integrations with protocols such as yourself. And Band, like you said, has been a long-term partner, originally helping us power our first ecosystem, the Oasis Emerald ecosystem, and then becoming key infrastructure for Oasis Sapphire as well, as we look to add privacy to the Web3 space. Um, and a little bit of, with the community team doing AMAs, podcasts, and seeing how we can help grow our community. The engineering is normally, you know, feedback from developers as well as trying to be forward looking about products and feature requests so that we can, have the best developer experience possible. And we're prepared and ready for the changes in the industry that are coming. And then with the marketing team, it's normally helping to, I guess, see where we fit in with current trends, whether that's zero knowledge proofs, whether that's AI, whether that's account abstraction, seeing where the Oasis tech stack fits in and helping us communicate in both a technical way as well as like a high level way for the average user. So that's a bit about what I do at Oasis.
Sweet, sounds great. Before we do a deep dive into Oasis and band specifically, keen to tell yourself a bit about yourself. I noticed that you were a D1 athlete in like your old days. That's quite quite freaking impressive. So how did you end up in crypto and why Oasis specifically?
Yeah. My I guess trip here wasn't, I guess, too normal, but I guess no one's is really in Web3. What I often say is, there's no degree, so everyone has like a pretty interesting path of getting here. For me, I was a chemistry major. Then I went to pharmacy school. I quickly realized that while I love chemistry, I do not love like the healthcare industry and like insurance companies and things like that. And I wasn't going to be happy as a pharmacist. I went and I worked in a lab for a while. And sort of the cool thing about lab work is that sometimes you have to wait like, 30, 45 minutes for like reactions to complete. And there's not much to be doing. So I had joined the um, Oasis Ambassador Program. And when I had some free time while I was at work, I would make tweets, where I was eventually I joined the BD Ambassador Program, so I'd schedule a meeting, and I would, yeah, I guess I slowly just moved my way through the Oasis Ambassador Program. Eventually got hired part time, and then eventually got hired full time as the ecosystem growth manager. Um, and then why Oasis? Um, so originally I got into crypto through basically at the end of 2017 through a really close friend of mine. When I first found out about crypto, Ethereum had already existed, and I remember being like, "Damn, I'm late," which is crazy to say now, but I was like, "Everything's been done." Um, but then I found out about like oracles, um, which is funny enough. I'm here with Oracle with an Oracle protocol, but yeah, I found out about oracles, um, and I was like, "Yeah, Oracle is going to be the thing that drives the next 10x expansion in like sophistication and use case of smart contracts. Just the ability to bring off-chain data, to help power DeFi, to help power insurance, like whatever you want to do with it. I know you like NFTs, SocialFi, gaming. Like all of these things need whether it's private oracles or it's VRF or things of that nature. So to me, that was like the first place that I really got interested in when it came to the Web3 space, because I was like, this is a missing piece. And then sort of, I guess that thesis played out with Band and other oracles in DeFi sooner and then after. So around 2020, the next place that I was like, what's going to drive the next 10x? Sort of expansion and sophistication and use cases. And I thought about it and yeah, found Oasis and was like confidential computation and sort of the ability to have encrypted state on chain uh, made sense to me in the sense that if we really ever want to compete with Web 2, we're going to need these features. In Web 2, there's lots of it's not necessarily always about privacy, but there's lots of things that require confidentiality. Like if you imagine like Uber, um, right? Like it has lots of different aspects of confidentiality. Your GPS is hidden, your messages with the drivers are hidden, your payments are hidden. Like if we ever want to compete with these Web two or traditional type applications and use cases, this was going to be a necessity. And so that's why I chose Oasis.
Sweet, Gil. Yeah, I think everyone's story is different from joining Web3. I think I joined crypto in early 2018. And then as an Oracle provider, you really only had Chainlink. That had like the front run thing. And Band back in days was really like the number two Oracle. So when doing research, I came across Band um, and talked to like the core team and actually noticed how giga tech savvy those guys were. And eventually I got offered a job as well on there and really have been with Band since that. Moving back to Oasis though, mind giving a quick TLDR on what Oasis Network essentially is? What are you guys doing over there and what's the vision for people that do not know Oasis yet?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely happy to give it TLDR. So I think that the division is we just launched, or not just launched now. It's pretty close to a year for the full launch. We went from alpha to beta to like our full launch in July of last year. Um, the Sapphire network, Oasis Sapphire, is the first ever confidentially enabled EVM. So what that means is you can have smart contracts on Oasis Sapphire that have encrypted smart contract state. And this is actually well, I guess what we've learned is it's like sort of an abstract term to most Web3 users, just because no other network has it. But what it means is, yeah, these contracts that can have encrypted state um, can basically span the spectrum of confidentiality. So they can be entirely transparent, they can be entirely anonymous, or they can be the entire spectrum in between. Um, and so that enables things like Illuminex, our first DEX, which has the ability for um, private token swaps. Um, so yeah, now you have a DEX that operates, in a way where your neighbors can't see sort of your positions. We'll have other protocols like Mirage Money Market coming soon, which will have confidential lending. So basically, people can't see what your positions are and won't know what your liquidation prices are to snipe them. That's like, what you can do in DeFi. Um, in gaming, if you really think about like traditional gaming, or Web 2 gaming, almost every single aspect, every single like compelling game will have some aspect of confidential logic. A card game will have, um, you know, where you can't know what the other what cards the other player is holding. You can't know what cards are coming next in the deck. Uh, a strategy game has this idea of fog of war. Uh, like a role playing game has quests, riddles, puzzles, things of that nature. All of these things, you can't put on chain today on other networks, because you'd be able to read them entire on chain, and the game wouldn't function. But on Oasis Sapphire, you actually can. So that's sort of the massive breakthrough in Web 3 there. And then the other like sort of focus of what we're doing is we quickly realized that, this isn't something that is just useful for dApps that are native to the Oasis Sapphire ecosystem, but we can actually leverage cross-chain messaging to sort of become a privacy layer. So we coined the term Opal, or the Oasis privacy layer. It kind of goes in with the gem theme. First we had Emerald, then Sapphire, and now Opal. But yeah, it's basically, if you imagine that game, that role playing game, where you need to put like a riddle, right? Instead of moving your entire um, game from, let's say, Polygon, where all your users are, it has a lot of TVL and things of that nature, uh, and bringing it to a Sapphire and rebuilding there and having all this friction, you can just add a riddle to your game by having the riddle smart contract on Sapphire and then connecting it to Polygon with cross-chain messaging, such that like the user experience would be like you're playing the game. Um, and then once you get to the point where you need to solve a riddle, MetaMask would automatically switch. You'd submit your encrypted solution on MetaMask on Oasis Sapphire. If that solution is correct, a message would be sent across using Stellar IM to Polygon and being like, and then you basically release your NFT reward or something like that. So that's just a use case for Opal, but in reality, I think it's pretty much useful anywhere in Web3, from DeFi to SocialFi to NFTs, gaming. We're doing something with NFTB with bid auctions, so you can have an auction on Binance Smart Chain where you actually hide the bids that you're placing in an NFT auction, which should drastically improve like sort of these gas wars and and network congestion that occur in minting today. So, yeah, excited for sort of again the more sophisticated and greater use cases that are possible, and band is going to be part of that for anything that needs price feeds, which is a lot of our protocols that are coming in the next coming months.
Sweet, sweet. I love how you give an example on the tech you're using that makes it more understandable for people. Cool there. Um, yeah, and another question. Oasis is actually known for being able to keep data private, as you told earlier. You have like a wide spectrum of privacy you can choose from as a customer on there, so that's really cool. Yeah, it's obviously also a confidential computing platform. Some people might think that your platform token with that rose is a privacy coin. From my understanding, that's not the case, obviously. Might explaining for people tuning in a bit more about these topics. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about privacy discussion in Web3 lately, Twitter mainly. So keen to know more on this for Oasis.
Sorry, can you repeat that
Yeah,
one
sure,
more time?
sure, sure. Yeah, sure thing. So Rose is known for their Oasis is known for the privacy, and people with that might think that Rose is a privacy coin. From my understanding, that isn't the case. Might explaining people tuning in if that is or is not the case and why.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. I missed the first part
yeah,
before.
no worries.
Um, so, yeah, so definitely not a privacy coin. Um, yeah, I think I think that's the only way that people understood privacy in Web3 before, like was whether you can have like anonymous transactions, with things, yeah, I guess like Zcash and Monero and things of that nature. Um, how I would describe Oasis is like if Monero is private Bitcoin, Oasis is confidential or private Ethereum. So we focus on the compute aspect, and the confidential state aspect. So where you can build like, yeah, like I said, like dexes, lending protocols, games, which leverage confidential logic, and you can add like encryption to the gaming, or to the app ecosystem. Um, of course, you could build transactional privacy. You could wrap an ERC20 token in a privacy wrapper, and then have these sort of private transactions. But in actuality, like I said earlier, um, the network spans the entire spectrum from entirely transparent to entirely confidential and everywhere in between. And so Rose is actually transparent by default on our network. And yeah, um, that's how at least the, the Oasis Protocol Foundation intends to use Rose. It's an open ecosystem, so if someone wants to build a wrapper and add privacy to it, then they can. But yeah, now Rose is just the sort of gas token that powers our ecosystem, and it's entirely transparent. And then the dApps that are built that leverage that gas can leverage encryption if they choose.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Cheers for the prompt answer. When reading through your docs, I actually noticed that Oasis Sapphire has like a 99.9% percent less fees than on Ethereum. Uh, Thought it was pretty cool. Mind explaining how that is achieved?
Yeah, now we're getting a bit out of my depth.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to like more engineering side.
Uh,
But basically, we have a mock architecture similar to Cosmos, which I believe Band is based on, or similar to actually how Ethereum 2.0 was is constructed. So we have an underlying consensus layer. Um, then on top of that, we have execution layers, which we call paradigms, stands for parallel runtimes. But maybe it's a product of we were a bit early to this, because you could really think of them as L2s or rollups. Just that phrase hadn't really been coined yet. Um, but the idea is that the execution layers, whether it be Oasis Sapphire, Oasis Emerald, some of the work we're doing now with Delta DAO or Oasis Cipher, we'll have to do the execution, and then submit a bare metal proof to our consensus layer for validation. Um, so this is like pretty similar to how the current modular architecture works, except for with Ethereum you have a lot of this technical debt, like the beacon chain was the old ESL1 chain, I think. So basically, yeah, it wasn't necessarily designed, um, you know, with this modularity in mind. So there's a lot of technical debt there. With the Oasis app, with Oasis Network, we always plan to have this modular architecture. So actually, our consensus layer can only like handle um, staking tax, and then transfers of rows, and I think delegation and like voting. So there's no real ability on our consensus layer to build smart contracts. This really helps the modularity, separation of execution and consensus, and that's a big reason why we're able to achieve the massively greater fees, is because just basically validation on the consensus layer is super cheap.
cool. Thanks again. Um, yeah, moving forward, let's dive a bit deeper into the forum partnership we have between Band and the Oasis network. Can you enlighten on the long-lasting partnership we have here and why it benefit Oasis as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Band, when I started, I don't even know if I was ecosystem growth manager. I think I was part time. So Ben was one of the first sort of teams that I ever talked to. Again, like I said, I came into crypto through oracles, and for the Oasis Emerald ecosystem, I understood that if we wanted to build gaming ecosystem, we need BRF. If we wanted to build um, a DeFi ecosystem, we would need price feeds. And um, Band, like you said, sort of was one of the top two Oracle providers. And yeah, we got integrated super quickly. And sort of that was the budding of a great relationship. It helps power, a lot of dApps on Oasis Emerald, including Beefy Finance, Fountain Protocol, and others. And you know, basically, any developer that was working with you guys, had nothing but nice things to say. So of course, when it came time for Oasis Sapphire, we reached out to Band again, and we got integrated. And the Band team did a great job of handling like the minor changes that have to occur in order to integrate a confidential ecosystem. But yeah, so we've been on testnet for a while, waiting for the needs of the ecosystem to need the price feeds. And then recently, with I guess with Vine Protocol, with Mirage Money Market coming up, Cynthia, and a few others that are starting to build an ecosystem, they're all going to need price feeds, and so it became time to get banned on mainnet. And again, you guys have been great. You guys moved super quickly with that, and yeah, so far so good. Again, everyone's saying nothing but nice things about the integrations, and we look forward to having you integrated more, getting more price feeds online, and as the ecosystem expands. And yeah, I guess that's a bit about where we've been and where we're going.
Yeah, cool. Kind words. Thanks for that. I heard you talking about OPL earlier in the convo. Mind explaining what the Oasis privacy layer is, OPL, and why OPL, essentially?
Yeah. So yeah, it's this idea of using cross chain um, to make Oasis Sapphire sort of a uh, L2 or side chain where you can offload your confidential computation needs. In some ways, you can think of it as playing like a confidential oracle, um, not really for like off-chain data, but for sending, you know, uh, yeah, the results of confidential computation that you need to happen on chain from different chains. So something that you can think about is like again that example I gave with gaming, but like maybe let's look at like a DeFi example. So Center is doing this thing where basically deposit collateral, let's say on Ethereum, but then you can mint a synthetic asset on Oasis Sapphire or any of the other ecosystems within their protocol. Um, but yeah, so they'll need price feeds to determine what you have to pay back, as well as what your liquidation prices are, and things of that nature. So that's one area where Band comes into play, but where Opal will come into play will be the ability to basically keep those positions. Like if you deposit on Oasis Sapphire, you'll be able to keep your collateral that you use and what synthetic assets you mint entirely confidential. Means that traditional market players and maybe whales can hide what positions they have long. But again, like they'll have the ability to deposit on one chain and then mint on Oasis Sapphire using cross-chain messaging. So these are the type of ideas that OPL enables. Illuminex, which is our confidential DEX, which I mentioned before, and it enables cross-chain swaps. So you swap from ETH on Ethereum to, let's say, BNB on Binance Smart Chain through the Oasis Sapphire network, and then it will be entirely confidential. On the other side, I think, yeah, Mirage Money Markets also intends to do sort of this cross-chain lending. So the way I define Opal is this just the ability to basically take what Oasis Sapphire offers natively, and then integrate it into other ecosystems.
Very interesting. Usually, when you're trading on a DEX, everything is visible on chain. Um, and with OPL, essentially, you can hide in a wide spectrum yeah, of privacy. I think that's really cool. Am I correct? Correct there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
I would encourage
Yeah,
everyone to go play with this. Yeah, it's kind of like just it's it all sounds so abstract until you just see it in person, and then you're just like, oh wow, it's so simple. And the yeah, it's simple for the users, and what's more important, it's simple for the developers since we're entirely EVM compatible, which has really allowed us to scale and grow our ecosystem fast.
sweet, cool stuff, man. I had a very hot topic emerging over my feed past weeks, which I'd like to discuss with you, besides obviously the pre-sale meme coin saga on Solana. But yeah, has been AI in crypto. I know that over at Band we have a proposal running right now to integrate, yeah, essentially generated Oracle data. How is Oasis focused on this matter regarding AI in crypto? If I recall correctly from the research I did, you guys partnered with Meta AI, I think a year ago or so. I think that was freaking cool. Yeah, essentially we had ChatGPT coming in, and I think that really let people show what the possibilities are with AI. Essentially, what can be done. How is Oasis on that end?
Yeah, AI is it's an interesting topic in crypto because, like, on one hand, the computation side is hard to integrate with crypto because it's yeah, crypto moves a little bit too slow for AI computation. It doesn't have the bandwidth. But there's also like a lot of other interesting things that to do. So we're focused obviously on the confidentiality aspect of AI, which is basically that our founder Don Song, she showed in a lot of papers, and back in the early 2000s, like more like the early 2010s, that like data can be leaked through AI models and things like that. So a lot of the work that Oasis Labs is doing, which is a separate entity from the foundation, but we do work closely together. Um, a lot of the work that Labs is doing is around sort of this doing confidential or encrypted off-chain compute, which then sends validations to Sapphire, or you uses cryptography to basically ensure that this encryption and these calculations won't leak any personal information or confidential data, or leak the AI model itself, which is important for these AI companies. So Labs is working with Meta. They also are working with a few other large enterprise partners. I think BMW is a major partner right now. But on that side of things, it generally moves very slowly with these Fortune 500 companies. They're pretty cautious, as well as AI is only one of the small things they're working on versus like a product that is just AI focused. Um, but on the Web3 end of things, we integrated Ocean, where Ocean built their predictor DApp on top of Oasis Sapphire. They did that because essentially, they did a research on all the other privacy technologies, and we were the only ones who fit their needs for confidential computation. But basically, yeah, the predictor app uses AI models to predict the not. It's sort of like a price feed, but it's not. It's if Band is telling you what the current price is, Ocean is creating an AI model for what future prices are. So, yeah, I guess a future Oracle or something like that. Where then you can build like subscriptions on and things of that nature. In the future, I would love to see like weather predictions for like future weather data and stuff like that for insurance products. But they're using AI, and they're using Oasis to keep sort of the algorithms, as well as like what people are staking, um, as well as what the result of the computation is, private, except for who are paying for the subscription. So that's one end of things. And then Delta DAO, we just started a recent partnership as well. But they're in the AI and data space and looking to build their DApp on Sapphire as well. And I think it basically we go very hand in hand in the sense that for these models they need confidentiality, and currently I think we're probably the only network that is really easy to use right now. I know there are other privacy providers, but it's super. At least developers have told us that it's a lot more comfortable for them when they get to use Solidity and that all the tools that they have in the EVM that have been over the last 8 years, versus having to learn some new language or build like new tools like wallets and explorers. They get that all out of the box with Oasis Sapphire.
Cool. Yeah, I love what the guys are doing over there at Ocean with AI. Props to them. I noticed another question before we move to some of the Q&A questions. Noticed that Oasis is one of the main sponsors for Eat Them. Are you going there as well? It's my first question. My second is, yeah, I'm going there as well. It's like 20 minutes close by for me. I live in the Netherlands, so essentially very good to see that a lot of Oasis speakers coming through from both tech and development side. Some info on that for you guys.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet you at Eat Them. That'll be fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
sure.
are I guess a major sponsor. I think Eat Them. We were trying to expand our conference presence this year, and Eat Them has traditionally been a very privacy focused conference. So it became it just sort of made sense to be the one that we should put the majority of our energy to. I think we have a good portion of the foundation team going there, and we have a few ecosystem partners such as yourself going. So we're happy to meet our ecosystem partners that we've only really ever met online before. We're happy to meet our community, and yeah, I think it should be a really fun event.
Couldn't agree more. I have one more question, and then we move to some of the Q&A questions. As you noted at the beginning of the conversation, you essentially joined Oasis through the ambassador program. Can you elaborate more on what the ambassador program is, how people can join, what are the perks or rewards essentially? Perhaps we have some people joining in that wanna join that and need more information.
Yeah. So the ambassador program has gone through a number of new iterations since I joined. I think I left when I joined Oasis in 2022. So it's a bit different than when I was there. But currently, it's the Sentinels program. Minya is currently in the chat right now. Hi, Minya. So maybe anyone who wants to join the ambassador program can reach out to him, and he'll have more details. But basically, we currently have I think it's branded as Oasis Sentinels, and it's really sort of where can you contribute and how can we empower you to contribute type program now, as far as I know. So we have a few different verticals like DeFi, like gaming and things like that. And whether you're a content creator, whether you're, maybe have developer relations experience, maybe you're a KOL, things of that nature, wherever you sort of have a passion and you have this ability to contribute to a network, we sort of just want to empower you with all the information and all the resources, so that you can, help our network grow. So I guess it's sort of like a help us help you program. But the Oasis ambassador program has been extremely fruitful for us. I think one of the great things that all of our community managers have done is put a lot of energy into the ambassador program, and that's helped a tremendous amount of people get Web3 jobs. So myself, Minya, Diana, Nelly, our BD hire, Robert. Yeah, I would say like at least 6 or 7 people have joined the foundation team through our ambassador program. So, and then a few people actually have gone and gotten jobs at other networks through our ambassador program. Ruben from Fuel comes to mind. So, yeah, I think it's a great way to get involved in Web3 if you want to make a career here. or whether you just want to contribute to the Oasis Protocol Foundation, and you have a passion for being for our tech, and you want to sort of see how you can help. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Minya. I hope I didn't butcher it, but yeah, anyone who wants, reach out to Minya, yeah, either on Discord, or you can send a message on Twitter or Telegram, I guess.
Last question, and then we can move to some questions from people tuning in. What is there to look out for in 2024 for Oasis Network? From my personal opinion, you guys have actually been wrapping up partnerships and whatnot this year, coming hot out of the gates. Any cool things to look out for? Essentially, I'm asking how the roadmap is.
Yeah. I think so. For me, I focus a lot on the ecosystem roadmap. So for me, it's all about getting like the basic cornerstones of our ecosystem set up, and all the plumbing, which is band as oracles. It's let's say like indexers. It's RPC gateways. So I think we have all the plumbing pretty much there. Now we just need to finish up a few corners. So we have our decks. We have a stable coin. Now we need lending, which there's two different lending protocols that are looking to launch in the coming months. I think we need a launch pad. We have our NFT marketplace with NFT. So yeah, I would say the things that we still need um, to get completed are the lending, synthetic assets, and a launch pad. So we're putting a lot of energy and effort into those things. Um, and then we're also looking at verticals like gaming. So Polychain Monsters just built the first ever game that leverages confidential on-chain logic. So I think there's going to be a tournament to help demonstrate um, that use case, and how simple it is to play a game on Oasis Sapphire that leverages these features. And we'll try to look at these verticals and expanding them as well. So that's on the ecosystem side for me. Um, on the another interesting thing we're trying to do is we're trying to integrate like community grants. So we want to have like the smaller grants, like the 5 to 10K grants, um, completely run by the community, where the community can vote and decide where the grants are offered and things of that nature. Um, that's yeah. So those are like the two major sort of, I guess, BD or ecosystem um, roadmap roadmap items. But then there's a lot of like engineering items, including like adding Bitcoin like clients to validators, Ethereum like clients to validators on Oasis Sapphire. This will help a lot with cross chain communication, in the sense that basically instead of sending messages from Ethereum to Oasis Sapphire, it means that Oasis Sapphire will just be reading it. So it'll just be able to see event emissions and things of that nature, which will help massively in sort of the opal space. And then also like interparatime communication is on the agenda. Um, and then I think a few other like proof of concepts and like the account abstraction, smart accounting type space. And then yeah, I think we got like for the next several months we have at least one conference a month. So we're going pretty hard this year, and I think it's the right time to do so. I think a lot of consensus is that we're back in the bull. Um, I think no one is ever able to tell, but I think at least the hype is starting to pick up. Privacy is one of the trending topics, and I think we're in the right place at the right time right now, and we're trying to capitalize on that by building a robust ecosystem, which our users can enjoy.
Exciting stuff, man. Exciting stuff. Yeah, on that note, I think we can move to see if anyone tuning in has any questions to ask. If you want to become a speaker, ask so. And I think Jen, can you make them a speaker?
Maybe we wait for speakers. Leon, what's next? Do you guys know what's next on the band roadmap? What are you looking out for on the band
Yeah,
side of things?
yeah, we sure. We have two big things coming up. One of them is a revised ambassador program. We launched it, I think Q3 last year, but came to the conclusion that the rewards essentially weren't in play with the work at hand. So we revised that. I checked the new version last week. Looked really cool. So that's one to look out for. The other one is Band Protocol version 3 or Benchain, I should say, which is probably one of the biggest upgrades on the protocol level. Our CEO Paul already posted some information on that and on Twitter regarding we'll have band restaking on there and some other cool things. So those 2 points are really the ones to look out for in the coming weeks/months. For now, that's probably top of mind. Band version 3 is going to be really big upgrade on the protocol level. Exciting times anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess one other question I would have is, uh, maybe not a band, but for you personally, like what verticals are you most excited about this cycle, or like in the next, let's say, year to 2 years?
Good question.
What like that? What use cases?
Yeah, good question. Oracles, obviously. Um, no, I think from a personal point of view, it'd be AI integrated into crypto, and the on-ramp from Web 2 into Web 3. I think if we can fine-tune that and pick like the low-hanging fruit to make it easy accessible for the non-tech savvy people that have been in crypto for years. Um, I think those are the two main areas I'd look into for me. So accessibility of
Yeah,
Web3
yeah, I agree.
and AI.
Yeah, for sure. I think probably oracles can play a major role in sort of the taking, whether it's AI computation and putting that on chain, or uh, even helping Web 2 users sort of onboard to Web 3. I think there's lots of expansion that can happen in the oracle space in the coming years as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Also with insurance, I think that's one that hasn't really been digged into. I think that's a cool thing for Oracles. Um, yeah, and GameFi obviously as well. It was a blast, man, and I hope I see you in E10 then.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, is there any upcoming things to look out for with bands, whether it be like announcements or community call to action?
Yeah, coming weeks, I think we'll have some cool things posted. So
Yes, as
Excellent.
as
I'll be
Leon,
following
yeah,
pretty
as Leon
closely.
mentioned before.
yeah, so keep an eye out on our Twitter to stay up to date, really.
Yep, I'll be following closely.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. This was
Likewise,
a
man.
great
Have
space,
a good
and
day.
yeah, thank you for being
Yes,
such a
thank you
long-time
so much.
partner.
Thank you so much for joining our ME
Have,
today.
All right.
have a great day,
Yeah,
guys.
likewise.
Talk to you
Bye
later.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.